I gotta fucking tell you, man. My dog
Yeah?
ate my headgear.
Your boxing headgear, huh?
Yes, my $100 headgear.
Where did you leave it that your dog got to? Because you know by now your dog will eat
I
things.
know. I left it up on a shelf. I didn't leave it.
How high is the shelf?
You know, it's my bookshelf, so third shelf up, and it's only 4 shelves.
So, like, eye level for you?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, your dog's pretty big. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying...
Are you putting this on me?
A little bit.
You're putting the dog eating the headgear on me?
I'm putting you leaving the headgear in the dog's reach.
What do you mean? It's the third shelf up.
Did the dog eat it?
He did.
Then it's in the dog's reach.
Well, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? He's never grabbed anything from there before.
Well, now you know. That's how he's teaching you things.
Fuck that.
Welcome, everyone, to a special Ask Mike Anything episode of Pancon Podcast.
Welcome to Pancon Podcast.
That's right.
The AMAs of 2020.
I like that you're adding the of 2020.
Yeah, well, it's the
So
2020 version, right?
It's
We're
true,
done.
it's true.
This is going to be it.
It's true.
The
Yeah.
Pancon Podcast is coming to an end for the year.
That's right. Well,
Because this fucking year is almost over.
it's almost over.
For fuck's sake.
We'll record more of these, but we're going to hold on to this, and this will be the last episode of the year.
Yeah.
And what we did was we put up on Instagram a field for people to submit questions for this episode. You could ask Mike anything. We're going to ask him all the things. I never guaranteed anyone that you would answer all the things. Because
That's correct.
I have no faith that you will actually answer all the questions. There may be things you don't want to answer.
How many questions do we have?
Too many.
No, but give me a number.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. Well, here's what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen.
All right.
We're going to do this for... We usually go for about an hour.
All right.
We're going to go for an hour. If we're still going after an hour, anything that happens after 60 minutes, Patreon exclusive. You'll have to listen on Patreon.
That's how you get yourself a mug.
That's how you get yourself a mug.
It's incredible to me that these mugs actually exist.
Philip Bennett and Mabel de Beunza both have Pancon
Clap
Podcast
it up,
mugs.
everyone. Nave team here.
There they are.
Welcome. First day back. Whoop, whoop. All right.
Okay. So, from here on out, I'm going to participate very little other than to act as the, in the person of our listeners who had all of these things.
This is going to be good.
First question. What is your favorite episode of Pancon Podcast?
That's a good question. That's tough because we've had 64 episodes.
And by the way, I'm not going to say who asked them because it wasn't. We never stipulated that we'd let people know. So
I don't want
that
to
will
know.
all be
I don't
a
want to know
secret.
who asked
There
these,
you go. That's probably for
these
the
crazy questions. You know, the episode with Norman was obviously a big deal for me. I mean, the guy's like a mentor, culinary godfather type for me. So I thought that I had the opportunity to thank him for a lot of things that he did for me, which was great. You know, I always love talking to Kush. I thought that was a very good episode. The episode with Rosa Maria was incredible.
Yep. You got to pick one though. This is a
I have
question.
to. I have
This is
to pick
which
one.
is your favorite?
My favorite.
Remember, it's not the best. It's just your favorite.
That's true. It doesn't have to be the best. It was it's crazy because I don't remember all the people that we've talked to. I think it's easy. I just the one that I had the most fun with.
Okay.
That I don't even remember was Falco.
John Falco.
And it's just because I actually had dinner with Falco 2 days ago, and we just talked about
I saw a
how
picture.
much. Yeah,
You
how
were
much.
in rough shape.
Yeah, I actually wasn't in rough. I was the only person at that table not in rough shape. I was just full, but the fact that it was so much fun and it was such a shit day, and we just had we got super hammered, and it was a great conversation.
I sent Nick a text. I said, hey, man, we still on for tonight? No stress if no. I was like, I totally didn't want to fucking come. And Nick sent me this, all one word, no spaces, with an exclamation point. Yes, sir!
Yeah, there it is.
And I was like, fuck.
I think that was definitely my favorite of the year.
Good stuff. So John Falco, favorite guest episode.
He's still a jerk, though. Can I tell you a funny story about Falco?
Sure.
When we were at dinner the other day, one of the people at the table turns around to a table behind us and said, listen, if you had to guess what everyone at this table does for a living, can you please tell me? And the table was like, sure. Okay. Looked at Kush, said, you're a cop. said, okay. And I was like, well, that's good. You look like the cop from Training Day.
He has cop
so it's
face.
good. And then I looked at Falco and was like, you look like you're on the Geek Squad at Best Buy. I lost my shit. And
I don't know if I see it, but
I saw it. And I thought it was excellent, and it was very good.
what'd they say about you?
That I look like I sell drugs.
Sure. Yeah. It's the one dread.
It's the exhibit look right now,
Yeah.
apparently, yeah.
Hey, yo, I heard you like podcasts, so we put a podcast on your podcast so you can
That's what I
podcast.
do. That's what I do. Pimp your podcast.
Pimp this podcast. All right. Next question. Top 3, and again, you have to actually pick 3.
Uh-huh.
And you had time for this.
Okay.
Because you knew.
I
Top
did.
3 non-Sade songs to play in the kitchen.
Oh, top 3?
Yeah.
Right now. Well, it's different because, like, every year it definitely changes.
Okay.
So right now I'm definitely on that Russ Chomp thing. Like that.
Songs, though.
The song,
Songs.
The Inside Job is definitely, like, number 1.
Okay.
For sure. I got to look at the thing here.
Or you could go, like, just all time. Like, if you had to pick 3 that were just going to be on a loop
On a loop.
forever in the kitchen. You can listen to other things outside of the kitchen, but 3 in the kitchen.
Man, that's so tough. Can I Live by Jay-Z?
Okay.
Definitely one. Tab Benoit Medicine. It's actually Darkness is the one Tab Benoit song. And I would say that the last one would be Spodioti Dopalicious by Outkast. Those would be in my all-time. Those are 3 songs that are on a loop in the kitchen at all times.
Kitchen.
Yeah,
So
that are
what-
not Sade.
So what about those songs for the kitchen specifically? Is it just like the energy of them?
Well, I don't know. Spodioti Dopalicious, I've always felt like that is just very much the vibe. Like, I want everyone to feel in that Outcast kind of mood when
Okay.
they're eating my food,
Okay.
which is tough. But to me, that's what I envision. What is the other song I said? Oh, Tab Benoit. Like, the thing about Tab Benoit, for people who don't know who that is, New Orleans singer, been around for like 20 plus years. From a blues perspective, modern blues perspective, the guy is a legend. And that song Darkness, it just makes you like feel a lot. And I always love that. And Can I Live by Jay-Z? It just like, it's a big, like, can I just do my thing?
Yeah.
And I love that.
Okay. How does it feel to play second fiddle to Petey the dog?
I mean, it makes sense though. I feel like totally okay with that because, I mean, Petey,
He's over here somewhere.
I mean, he's such a legend.
It's true.
I mean, he's a legend living and a legend walking, and I'm totally okay with it.
Okay.
100%.
There you go. There's your answer.
Yeah.
What's the secret to making award-winning chili? Also, will this be on the secret menu?
I have to be honest. I don't even really like my chili. This is a big misnomer. I won no awards for chili at all ever in my life. And actually, my favorite chili comes from one of our corporate chefs, Veronica Valdivia, and I don't even think that I make good chili.
Okay. So is there a secret to hers?
You got to fucking ask her. I don't fucking know.
All right. Good. Yeah. Good answer. So let's just so that people feel like they learned about your chili.
Uh-huh.
What don't you like about your chili? Do you even have a chili you'd say is your chili? Because
No, I don't. Because the question with chili is like, does it have beans or does it not have beans?
Well, have you not figured out an answer?
I haven't.
Okay.
I don't really know. Have you eaten a lot of chili in your life?
I wouldn't say it's not something that I seek out. I've had a decent amount of chili.
Okay. I mean, for me, I don't know if I have a chili.
I like the beans.
I like the beans. I like the beans, but are the beans a thing or are they not a thing?
Yeah. Have you had Cincinnati style chili?
No.
It's like very, very finely ground picadillo, but like super fine. Like
I had a drink in
some people
Cincinnati
use it as
once.
a,
That's it.
Some people
I've never
use
really
it as like
been
a
there.
spaghetti sauce.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's
Have you ever had a spaghetti sandwich?
No.
That's for a different podcast.
Okay.
All right.
Why is Marty your number one favorite artist to play while doing number 2?
Because he just makes you feel good. Like you could really get the job done and do it well. Blowback
Right.
freestyle.
My blowback without squeezing the thing is so seamless.
Blowback is a good... number 2 blowback is not what you're going for there.
Oh, man.
All right. So what is the likelihood of Chug's menu items being available at Ariete?
They are currently already available.
Which ones?
Pastelitos became available last week. and the pancake. The pancake actually originated at Ariete for a small stint, then went to Chugs, and now is back at Ariete.
Is a taco a sandwich?
I had so many conversations about this, and I don't think it's a sandwich.
Tell me why. Let's start with this. What makes us? How do you define sandwich?
2 pieces of bread
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
And the taco is one piece of taco shell.
So here's a question.
Okay.
A lot of messier subs will not completely separate the two breads.
That's a good point.
Meatball sub.
But,
tuna subs.
I had this conversation actually over dinner 2 days ago. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Falco did a whole episode of his podcast about this. And I told him I was very upset about his answer.
What was his answer? I don't remember.
The answer they settled on was that it was 2 independent pieces of bread,
Right.
which I think disqualifies a lot of things that most people agree are sandwiches because you don't go all the way through with the cut. And also, this was the definition his podcasting partner came up with that he agreed with by the end, said there had to be meat, and that takes all kinds of things out of the equation.
Oh, peanut butter and jelly is a sandwich.
That's what I said.
I mean, people who have that thing, it's like you can easily cut the bread for a sub, and you could easily cut the bread for a hot dog. So that's a good question. I think it's thick, and I think we could go on this for. Actually, let me ask.
Tacos, not sandwich.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Is a taco a sandwich?
Talking to the microphone over here.
A taco is not a sandwich. A taco is a taco.
But why?
Like, what makes a sandwich a sandwich?
I mean, I think sandwich, I think bread.
Okay.
So a taco, even a soft shell or a hard shell taco, I would not consider it a sandwich.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
A hot dog's not a sandwich either.
Now, why isn't a hot dog a sandwich?
Because a hot dog's a hot dog.
But it's got the bread.
It's technically is, but it's not.
Okay.
It's technically.
It sounds like you land where I land. Technically it is, but it's stupid if you call it a sandwich.
I agree.
I mean, are you going to go to Chicago and say you want a hot dog sandwich? No.
No.
Are you going to go anywhere?
to Mexico and ask for a sandwich? No, you're going to ask for a taco. Right?
Absolutely. They look at you like you're fucking crazy.
I'm with you because I think it's the bread. I think
But let me ask you, is a quesadilla a sandwich then?
Quesadilla is still not a sandwich.
but this is a good question. I mean,
It's closer to a sandwich than a taco is.
This is good.
what about a soft shell taco? Now you're talking about
But a hard shell taco. But that's another thing. Are we talking about soft shell tacos or are we talking hard shell tacos?
maybe there's a difference. Maybe it matters.
I mean,
A taco's not a sandwich.
For the most part, you gotta think taco and you think soft shell. Not too many legit tacos are hard shell.
I don't like hard shell.
Me either.
It's
Okay.
not good. It gets all crackly. It's a mess.
Sure.
That's Chef Justin
There you
Flitt,
go.
my chef
Thank you,
partner
Justin.
from Nave, putting in his input here on is a taco a sandwich? And we've unpacked the fact that it is not a sandwich, it is a taco.
There you go. You heard it here first. Next question. Why are red onions and cabbage purple?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. How and when did you first meet Nick?
It's funny. Mike Ortiz, the owner of JoJo Tea, a very dear friend and a very crazy person in a very great way, came to dinner 3 days ago, Sunday, and we spoke about you.
Oh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember the day that, because we had a previous podcast called Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
That's right.
And it was such a great podcast also. And one day Mike comes up to me, he's like, hey, Mike, there's this guy, Nick, and he wants to...
I love this Mike Ortiz impression.
He wants to do this, he wants to do our podcast for us. I go, what does that mean? So, he's going to help us get ads, and he's going to do this thing, and it's, and then we got to pay him. I said, well, I'm not paying him. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, nah, I'm not paying him.
That was never what I proposed, by the way.
Well, I'm just telling you how I heard your name for the first time.
Yeah.
And then you showed up with all the things, and I was like, this guy's pretty good at his job.
Okay.
I think that's how we first met.
No, yeah, we definitely first met through that podcast.
Right.
What was being said about me in this when Mike came over?
No, that was it. And
That was the thing?
we were just talking. He was talking about how great Pongo
Going down memory
Podcast
lane.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's going to start his own, and I'm like, oh, you're going to start your own now, huh? That's it? You're done with me? I'm chopped liver, huh?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Who would be your dream interview for the podcast and why? Again, you got to pick one.
Dream interview.
Yep.
For the podcast. Fuck. That is I guess, living people?
Well, yeah.
Living?
Let's do both, living and dead.
Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
I mean, being able to tell a guy that he's done so much for me and we've never met, making me believe that my voice has purpose apart from just cooking food. Anthony Bourdain did that for me and so many other people. It's incredible. And after he passed away, like, so many people have been left with just that. Like, thank you for what you did. Living,
and even if there's more than one, like, let's suppose that you can have all the ones that come to mind, but which one would you put at the top of the list just in...
And it's someone that I've actually asked to be on the podcast, but I get that, not a super public person, is Jeremy Fox.
Okay.
Jeremy Fox, as a chef, I incredibly respect what he does, his journey, his food, who he is, what he represents. I think a lot of that, yeah.
Okay.
I would say that.
Jeremy Fox.
Yeah.
Why is Jupiña the greatest soda ever made? Is this that you agree and somebody who wrote this knew?
Yeah, I mean, Jupiña is the best soda of all time.
Okay. Why?
I mean, I'm sure that...
And tell the people what it is.
Jupiña is a pineapple soda that is drank a lot here in Miami. And it was, for me, I don't drink soda ever. So, like, that soda I drank my entire life. I can tell you that probably why it's so great is because it has 54 grams of sugar in a 12-ounce can. That's
How does that
why.
compare to other sodas? I'm not even sure.
It's about
I don't drink
the same.
soda. So.
It's about the same.
Okay.
About the same. I don't drink soda either, but I know that it's about the same. But it doesn't taste like pineapple at all, really.
Okay.
It's so delicious.
Yeah.
That's why it's the best soda of all time. I've never felt like it's super carbonated. Like
Okay.
the carbonated nature of Jupiña is... that's what I don't like about soda is it always makes me feel like this like weird, like crunchy feeling in my stomach.
Crunchy, huh?
It's the only way I can explain Coke for me. Coca-Cola always does that. When I drink it, it's just like does this like weird thing to my stomach. Jupiña never did that for me. Neither did Sunkist. Sunkist was it Sunkist, right?
I never drank soda. So.
Never?
No.
In your entire life?
So here's the thing: is I was my parents' firstborn, and like a lot of first-time parents have some stupid rule for their kids. And my mom decided, like, if we let this kid drink soda, he's gonna get fat, which of course worked very well.
You're killing it.
Oh God. So yeah, I didn't actually I never got used to the sensation of carbonation, and even like soda water grosses me out. I don't like it.
Me too.
If I drink beer, I'll drink like the heaviest, mealiest, low carbonation beer around.
Oh yeah.
And that I can get through, but you'll never catch me like chugging a beer, much less drinking soda. Any cocktail with like carbonation in it, I have to I'll drink it if I'm just trying to be polite to whoever made it.
Look at that.
So just don't like the sensation.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. If you weren't in the restaurant, and I assume this means like the restaurant industry,
Right.
where would you be?
If I wasn't in the restaurant, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
My other thing I really enjoyed was radio. And hence why we're here, I guess.
Yeah. Tell people about your radio career. We got into this a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So I did some color commentary on radio in college. And I was good at the color part, but the commentary was bad. Because I didn't know shit about college basketball. I still don't know much about college basketball, more just like pro basketball.
Did you only do basketball?
I did baseball also.
Which you know better.
Yeah, and I would butcher their names, though. Like, the names of, like, people from the other team. And there's a bunch of, like, because I was in Virginia, there's a bunch of, like, names I wasn't familiar with. It was better with, like, Vasquez and, like, Rodriguez, but I wasn't getting a lot of that out there.
What was, beyond just mispronunciations and fucking up on some technicalities, did you ever have, like, a major fuck-up? Like, did you ever say things you could not say
I cursed.
on the radio? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get in trouble for it?
Yeah, I got, for sure. I was also always hungover, right? Because the baseball games were mad early. The basketball games weren't, but it didn't matter because I was still hungover. And it just didn't go super well.
Okay. I also did a little bit of radio in college, and I did curse on the radio, but it was here's the story.
What was your curse word?
It was fuck ass. Fuck and ass were both in the sentence.
Wow.
So here's what happened was this wasn't live. This
Okay.
was all recorded, but you were like in a recording booth reading a news story, and this was in Spanish in Columbia, Missouri. So like 5 people in a kitchen somewhere listened to this radio show. And it was like a once a week Spanish language news roundup. And I was reading a story about something related to like an ice raid. And I was reading a script I myself had written, and I'm terrible at just reading a thing when I know there's a microphone and I'm gonna fuck up, right? It's just gonna happen. So I'm reading this thing and I'm saying, y no sé qué, no sé cuánto, y las autoridades hicieron no sé qué cosa, whatever, and I stumble over my own words, and I say, fuck my ass, I gotta do that again. And I forgot to like cut it out after the fact. So nobody ever heard it. Like 3 people in the world ever knew that I said fuck my ass on the radio, and nothing
3
happened.
people, Mel.
Yeah.
3
So-
people.
Next question for Mike. What do you look for in a podcast co-host? By the way, this is the picture that I posted with that.
Definitely not Nick.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
So far, the only consistent thing has been Belen Diplomas.
Yeah, land diplomacy. I mean,
No, Belen Diplomas. Me and Mike Ortiz.
oh yeah. I think it's important that, albeit you and I disagree and agree a good amount, there's a solid amount of discourse and conversation when we do disagree, and there's a solid amount of conversation when we do agree, which is rather rare to actually have like conversation. So I think the fact that you and I can carry a conversation without actually getting upset with one another is very rare, and I think that's why this works so well.
Good answer, Mike.
Thanks, Nick.
The next question actually is a little bit connected to a previous question. What is your favorite sandwich? And let's make this a 2-parter. Number 1, without getting into a specific place or source, your favorite type of sandwich, and then isolate like your favorite sandwich of all time, like this sandwich from this restaurant.
Oh man, that's tough because it's never like from that restaurant. Can I say like a before and after?
Sure, yeah. However you want to do it.
So growing up, my favorite sandwich always was croqueta preparada. Always.
Okay.
And I've always really
Tell the
enjoyed.
people what that is.
It's just a Cuban sandwich with croquetas in it. It's tough though because it's like because you can go Cuban sandwich or you can go like one of my favorite sandwiches growing up was a thing called a cheeseburger bomb.
Tell
and
me
it was-
about this.
And it was at a place called Linda's Subs on
Where?
87th and Sunset.
Still
which
there?
I don't think they exist
I
anymore.
don't think so.
And it was just like a bunch of chopped up like cheeseburger meat with American cheese and lettuce, tomatoes, and it was a mess. It was a real mess, but it was so fucking good. I remember that vividly. That's actually one of the great memories I have of my father was when he would take me there.
Okay.
So after, as a grown up, I think I encountered my favorite recent sandwich by having the Stanzione sub at Stanzione.
What's in there?
Oh, I honestly, I don't want to butcher it, so I don't know exactly. We would have to look up the menu so I know exactly what's in it.
Is it a lot of Italian things?
It's a lot of Italian things, and
it.
it's cold, and it's some spice, and it's fucking delicious, and it's $12.
So, follow-up question from me. Have you ever attempted to, you yourself, recreate the cheeseburger bomb?
No.
No.
I would love to, though. Actually, you know, a cheeseburger bomb and a chopped cheese are very similar. You know what a chopped cheese is? Chopped cheese is kind of like a play on a Philly, but it's a bunch of cheeseburger meat, and you chop it up, and it's American cheese, so it's very similar to a
Okay. Yeah.
chopped cheese. So we did, at Chug's at the beginning, we did a chopped cheese, but with frita. So it was a frita chopped cheese. And the reason why it didn't stick, we didn't sell that many of them, but it was a mess on the flat top.
Yeah.
And man, it was fucking delicious. So good.
So it didn't stick from a process standpoint, but customers must have liked it. I mean,
They liked it. We didn't sell a ton of them because not many people knew what a chopped cheese was.
I wouldn't have known what that was.
But man, it was fucking good. Just like frita patties. I think it was 2 per order, and we served it on a Cuban bread, and just chopped up like Philly style, like bum 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 bum. American slice of American cheese chopped up, bum bum bum, onions, the whole thing. A little bit of mayo spread on there, and it was papitas on top. So good.
There you go. There's your answer. Next question. Does the Pan Con Podcast logo look like a penis in a butt sandwich to you? Still on the sandwich theme, huh?
Not to me. It didn't look like that to me, but apparently a lot of people feel like it looks like a penis in a butt sandwich. Not to me, though.
Listeners, let us know at Pan Con Podcast, wherever you do your social mediaing. Does our logo look like a microphone having sex with a sandwich?
I don't think so. Do you think so?
I don't think so, but a lot of people do. A lot of people.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are, a little fucked up.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And here we thought we were the fucked up ones.
I know.
I'm not sure. Maybe you'll have an easier time interpreting this.
Okay.
What are your 4 essential kitchen ingredients?
Ingredients.
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Again, I know that I keep taking these and kind of parsing them out. Let's do on the first version of the question in a kitchen that's like fully stocked, right, or a typical, let's say, home kitchen. What are the 4 things you see as being most important? And then the other version of the question: if you could only have 4 things in your kitchen to work with.
Yeah, they would be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, garlic, super necessary.
Shout out George Masvidal.
Yeah. Garlic, leeks. Oh, I'm sorry. Garlic, shallots, sherry vinegar, and lastly, pimentón de la vera.
Tell people what that is.
It is a distant cousin of the Hungarian paprika that is
Interesting.
used for Eastern European dishes. There is no substitute for this ingredient.
Pimentón de la vera.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you said that was the same answer for both. When you're saying it's the same answer for both, is there something you're making with just those 4 things?
I start so many sauces with those 4 things.
Okay.
So many. Garlic, shallots, pimentón, sherry vinegar. Like, that's a base of a lot of things for me.
Okay. Now, the second version of the question was like, if there are literally only 4 things in your kitchen,
Okay.
what do you want those to be? Like, you have to make a meal and you only have 4 things
Oh, man.
in the kitchen.
I would subtract sherry vinegar and add potatoes.
So your meal is potatoes with the other stuff.
Yeah.
Which sounds pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
So the next question is also a kitchen question.
Okay.
People apparently looking for your tips here on kitchen things. My 16-year-old son
Okay.
used a soap-infused Brillo pad on our cast iron skillet. Is it still okay to use?
Yeah, you have to retreat it, and you have to look up how to retreat it. There's a way to bring them back. Like, cast iron skillets last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I were to tell you exactly how to do it, I'd butcher it. But if you Google how to bring back a cast iron skillet, it will happen, and they'll last a lifetime for sure.
Your favorite album of all time?
Darkness on the Edge of Town by Bruce Springsteen.
We've talked about.
I don't know. It's tough because Born to Run by Springsteen also is like very close. It's like,
But it's not up there. It's very close. If you had to pick a
I
second,
don't know, because the thing is, like, so if you look at both albums individually, right? Born to Run was basically, if I were to sit there for 10 years and think about the perfect menu that I would want to execute, that was what Born to Run was. And if you look at the last song on that album, it is absolutely fucking incredible. Everything, like, starts with violins, and it's like a ballad, and it's like, but then Darkness is so real, and it has so much feeling, and it has like, it was tough. Like, Darkness was like, it was so raw, and that's really where it's at.
So you've done a Versos Sencillos dinner series. Maybe there's a Born to Run dinner series somewhere in the future.
Maybe.
Little Springsteen dinner.
Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so that's where you'll find the chili on the menu.
Yeah. The Nebraska chili, because it's got an album named Nebraska.
This is I don't know what to make of this, but I'm curious to see what you will. Most beautiful Pan Con podcast moment?
Oh, man. When I had the opportunity to tell Norman that he saved my career, without a doubt. You know, like, we've had so many episodes and so many great moments, and I feel like maybe I've told Norman that before, but being able to really put out there how I feel like he saved my entire fucking career, maybe more than once, but one time specifically was very important to me.
Yeah. I think that's one of the interesting things about not just doing a podcast, but having a pretext for like interviewing someone, even someone that you've already known. It gives you this window to say and get into things that would just be weird in normal conversation. Like you might have said that, but you may not have said it in the full comprehensive way that you had a chance to say it then, and it wasn't an odd thing. Like you put a microphone in somebody's face, and all of a sudden, it opens this window of conversation.
Correct.
So, I'll cut in a clip from that, but I would encourage people to go back and listen to the 2 episodes we did with Norman, because I do think that they're 2 of the best that we've done, and they were early on, but they
early on.
Yeah.
Pre-30.
What do you mean I'm going to go interview with Norman Van Aken? So I walk in this room, and it was the office. I was on the 2nd floor.
Yep.
And I was so like, I'm usually pretty cool under pressure, but I was cracking hard. And you asked me, though, just the very simple questions. So what do you think about food? And I'm just like, I fucking love food. And I'm like, oh, man. And then the guy in the other room, which was one of the sous chefs at Norman's at the time, laughs because it was such a like simple answer. But now that I look back on that moment, it's still the same. Like, I was very true in that moment, and I think that you saw that. And for the rest of the interview, I was pretty much in shambles. But I guess you liked me because you hired me. And, that was like the beginning of a very incredible journey that had a lot of ups and downs. And that was the first time I had ever met you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to fast forward to, I think, what was maybe 3 years after that. Maybe 4. I don't know. I was at Norman's 180. And then from Norman's, I left. Things happened. And we all left there. And I had gone to the local. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember this time. And we had still been in somewhat communication. We would email back and forth, whatever. And I was, that was probably one of the top 3 lowest points of my life.
Right? Top 3 lowest. Okay.
Yeah, lowest. And it had nothing to do with the local. It was a nice place. Bottom 3, though. Bottom 3 points of my life. And it was a very trying time for me. And you had reached out to me, and you were like, we're going to open Tuyo. Would you like to be a part of the opening team? And me, like a little arrogant fuck, I was like, no, I'm good. Because I was so in my own world and so just like inundated by like drugs and alcohol and like stuff. Just like all the stuff that's like bad about our industry, right? So anyways, fast forward, I think like 6 or 7 months after that email, my time at the local ended very poorly. I was let go for reasons that we can't share publicly. But anyways, I was like on the street for like, I was living somewhere, but in a very bad place. So I reached out to you and, I asked if you were willing to meet. And Tuyo had already opened at the time. Matt Hawkins, which is the chef de cuisine at Ariette now, and Gio Fesser, which is the Pastelito Papi and one of my best friends in the whole world, worked at Tuyo at the time. And I was like, yeah. And you said yes, which I was shocked that you said yes. So this was like maybe 3 days after everything happened at the local. And, my world was burning and falling apart. And I was in like it was like a 2-day bender. Things were bad. And I walked into what was your office in the back. Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey was there, but he did not stay. And you just looked at me and you said, "Are you okay?" And I responded, "No, I'm not." And we talked a little bit, and you said to me, "I don't necessarily have a position for you, but I will hire you." And that changed the rest of my life forever. 150%. You did not need to hire me. You did not need to, help me at that point, and you did. So all I could say is thank you for that.
I can see you sitting in the chair. It was by that table that was supposed to be a big prep table, but it ended up being a kind of an ad hoc
Right.
office for us because there was no other office, and you had this coat on and
Hoodie.
like you've been driving for 24 hours.
It's close to it, yeah.
And you were beat up, and the world had given you a serious whipping.
Sure.
Yeah. But I remembered your work, and I remembered the promise that I saw within you, and so I wanted success, like I've always wanted success, and the only way you get success is to build a team. I am a member of a team. I happen to be, typically, I'm often the quarterback of the team, but I would get nowhere if it weren't for the linemen, it weren't for everybody else,
Right.
weren't for the fans. So I knew
We need the fans.
We need the fans.
We need the fans.
They pay for everything.
Yes.
But you had and have, that intrinsic quality, that ineffable quality of caring so deeply. Yeah, your answer was true, Michael. You love fucking food. You didn't need to say it any fancier than that, really. I could see it in your, like a method actor looks for truth. You were telling me the truth with your heart. And I appreciate that.
Going back to early on in the podcast, what happened to the shopping cart?
So it's funny. We recorded the first 10 episodes at Chugs.
Something like that, yeah.
And Chugs has a storage unit. And the trash is actually like 100 yards away. Right?
Yep.
So we would fill up this random shopping cart that the building has with stuff, and we would shopping cart it over. And what happened to the shopping cart is still there, but we are not.
Right. And who knows? Maybe when that thing reopens,
It'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your go-to fast food binge?
A Crunchwrap Supreme Taco Bell.
Crunchwrap Supreme. I had a feeling.
Yeah, it's just... what sucks is that the last one I had was fucking terrible. So fucking bad.
Yeah.
They should be ashamed of themselves. That's engineering genius that they're just fucking up.
But how did they fuck it up? What's the... Because was the
it was
engineering
limp.
fucked up? Or the?
No,
Okay.
it was limp. They didn't cook it enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't seared. It wasn't hot. They just fucked it up.
Phoning it in, Taco Bell.
Yeah, they phoned it in.
I will say, however, I don't know what... I guess you could take this as praise. Over the course of the last 10 months, I've been to a few different drive-thrus. And Taco Bell, from early on, was the fast food place that, in my experience, took the most COVID precautions.
Good for them.
In a drive-thru. It's a lot of like, here's an empty soda cup, drop your card in here, we're going to hand you this bag in a box that you pull it out of, like our hands are never touching. Taco Bell really kind of went above and beyond as far as COVID precautions. Granted, and this is not a knock on Taco Bell, at this point a lot of that is, we know it to be bullshit because it doesn't spread that way, it's all airborne. It's not on surfaces, but they're still doing it. And
they're still doing their part.
They're doing what they
their
can.
part.
They're
doing
taking
their part.
measures.
Right.
So, croqueta doorstops would make a good Christmas gift. Will you produce them?
If everyone gets on Patreon, okay, and starts giving us your money,
Yes.
we will produce 50 croqueta doorstops.
Oh, man. How many more people than now? What's the total number of patrons we need to have in order to send
100.
If we get 100 people on Patreon, everyone gets a croqueta doorstop.
I will go out of my way and create this croqueta doorstop in as with a guest artist that is Sweet Baby Fred himself.
The Art of My Anus.
The Art of My Anus by Sweet Baby Fred will create the croqueta doorstop, and I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm sure he'd be into
He'd
it.
be super down.
We need 100 people on Patreon.
100 people on Patreon, and everyone will get a croqueta doorstop.
100.
Yeah,
It's not that hard. Just give us all your money.
Patreon.com/DADEMAG. And you might get a mug if you pledge enough.
Hey, listen. There's some mugs out there.
They exist.
They
I swear.
exist.
All right. What's the craziest thing one of your podcast followers has done? I got to say, our people aren't that crazy. But
No, they're not. I don't really know.
I'll throw one out there.
Okay.
And this is a little bit crazy, but also kind of awesome. Shout out to
I know what you're about to say. Yeah, for sure.
for that audio that we put in the last podcast, where we kind of joked that we were going to do a 1210 The Man promo with Brett Romberg, and he turned it into a legit 1210 The Man promo. I'm going to actually
1210 the man should have 0 promos because they suck.
but ours is the best one they have.
That's accurate.
So I'm going to bleep out his name, by the way, because he works in the radio industry, and who knows if he's going to need a job with 1210 The Man. But beep. But thank you, beep.
Thank you, Beep.
That thump you just heard, that was my pen ass hitting the bottom of the table.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's penis hits the bottom of the table.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
Fantastic.
Are you on OnlyFans?
No, I considered it, right? Because the year's been tough, but I'm no Bella Thorne, that's for sure.
If you were on OnlyFans, what would your OnlyFans name be? Because you can't use your real name on OnlyFans.
Chug it.
Chug it? What would you be? Because obviously on OnlyFans you got to subscribe. Like, what would some of the perks be for subscribers on OnlyFans? By the way, I mean, we're on Patreon. It's a little bit OnlyFans-ish.
Is it?
It's kind of.
I've never been on Patreon, so I have no idea.
Works very similarly, but with less tits.
Well, that sucks. So, OnlyFans is more like a strip club, and Patreon is more like a casino?
No. Patreon is just like it's like a department store.
Okay.
You got all kinds of different things.
All right.
Different people doing different things. Some of them are a little sexy,
All right.
but most of them are not. And OnlyFans is like the inverse. OnlyFans is Patreon for people who want to get straight pornographic.
Porn. But no, there's more than porn on OnlyFans, from my understanding.
But I'm saying like that's where the limits are far. Like there is no limit on Patreon or on OnlyFans rather.
Okay.
Patreon, you got to keep it PG-13.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame.
What are you gonna do? Could you ever imagine your life without Nick?
No. And I'll tell you, I'm not like I talk a lot of shit to Nick. This podcast would be absolute trash and actually wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Nick.
It wouldn't exist. I don't know if I'm the reason it's not trash.
No,
but it wouldn't
it's
exist.
true. Listen, there's a lot of like conversations that we have, and Nick intellectually challenges me to think, more than I usually would. And also because when we record this is also after a long day of work.
That's right.
So, sometimes and Nick and I jokingly said through a direct message the other day, like, no, I'm always ready. I'm always on and ready to go. And Nick was like, yeah, sure.
Whatever you say. Anyway, kind words for me from Mike Beltran. Thank you very much. Moving on, because compliments make me uncomfortable.
You know what, Nick? You suck.
Thank you. I'm so much more comfortable now. You don't understand how much you've put me at ease.
No worries.
What's
I make the podcast. Me and Petey make the podcast.
My whole body just relaxed.
In reality, though,
Oh, you're gonna reverse the whole process. Huh?
I'm going to reverse the whole process. This podcast is absolute trash without you.
No,
A lot of people always tell me that the only reason why this shit is even somewhat decent is because of the conversations that we have.
Okay.
That's good.
Thanks to I'm glad that people are into it.
I mean, that's good.
That is good. Whatever. If people like it, I'm happy.
Now they just need to be on Patreon.com.
They do need to be on Patreon.
Maybe we should be on OnlyFans.
I'm gonna make an OnlyFans for us.
We should make a Pancom Podcast OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I actually like this idea.
And all the nudity will be Petey the dog. Like the top tier,
So-
the $100 a month people get Petey dick pics on a regular basis.
So, Pancom Podcast is going to have an OnlyFans.
I don't see why not.
I think this is a good idea.
This is a great. This is the best thing that's come out of this episode.
Do we have
so
a TikTok?
Far. We don't. I refuse to do TikTok.
Oh, good for you.
We're too old for TikTok.
That's true.
What's your take on turrón? Gross or great?
Great.
Tell people what it
No,
is.
great. I mean, it's a almond nougat thing.
A lot of different kinds, but that's like
that's the one
staple.
that we have every Christmas. We actually, and I don't remember, I think we tried to remake it. I tried to do a guava version maybe 2 years ago, and it was pretty good. But yeah, it's like I think it's great.
Cool. What might people find gross about it? For the uninitiated?
Side note, Emma really packed this fucking.
Did she?
She was like, no, we want to close down the bar. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Shout out to Emma over there.
Fuck.
I can't relate because I just always have.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
Hey, Mike. I like this the hey, like it's a letter. I like this is how everybody should. Hey, Mike. Are all chefs angry by nature? Keep up the good work.
Thanks. Angry by nature. I think that's a really good question and a very difficult one to unpack. I think that, like for me, and we've had this conversation a lot over the last year, it's like, how do we become shepherds and not Vikings, right? Mm-hmm. But I have my Viking moments often. I'm not immune to that, and I'm aware of them, and I try to better myself from them. And really, all those angry or Viking moments come from a place of, that's not right, and I want it to be better, and we need to be better. And that's really where it comes from. Being able to grow and nurture talent is something that a lot of people aren't good at, and it's something that I think hopefully my staff and my people around me feel like I'm pretty decent at, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it considering we're surrounded by my staff as we do this. And you know, it's one of those things that it takes a lot of time to kind of grow into, because in my younger years when it was just kind of like me, and I was a sous chef and I had a lot of stress, yeah, I was a fucking savage. Because in reality, I was savage because I don't want to get bitched at.
That's about you. What do you think would make somebody think that that's the case about chefs?
Television, yeah.
So you think it's just television, or
Yeah.
how much of the television thing is...
I just want to, let's put this out there into the ether for the people that don't read.
Do it.
Gordon Ramsay once cried at the feet of Marco Pierre White, right? Because Marco Pierre White was a fucking savage. If you've never read A Devil in the Kitchen, which is an incredible book about Marco and his life. I'm not co-signing Marco himself because I think he's turned into quite a fucking twat. But he is incredibly talented. His food has inspired me several times over. But he's a little bit of a fucking douche, to be honest.
Okay.
But Gordon Ramsay is of a caricature. He is, if he was actually that, I would be shocked.
Right.
That people would actually want to work for him.
Right.
So, you know, I think food television has really brought, what is it, the asshole sandwich that Gordon calls it? He wraps people in fucking 2 sandwich breads.
Idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So let me ask you this. When you, I mean, I'm sure that by now, I mean, and he's also like a TV veteran as well, right? So I'm sure he does a little bit of the show. But I remember when we were talking to Norman, he mentioned having passed on some TV opportunity because he was worried that he would be edited to look like a caricature.
Sure. Which is correct.
Yeah, and I wonder how much, for sure, Gordon Ramsay, you know, does some of it on purpose, as anybody would if you're concerned with being successful.
It evolved into that.
It evolved into that, but I'm sure that some of it started with people saying like, hey, this guy's extra colorful when he's really pissed, like for real. But if you cut out all the stuff in between, he looks just like if somebody did a show about you and you changed nothing, but they just isolated all those things.
Right, randomly, something unassociated but associated. So we did, you know, we do our tasting menu videos, right?
Yep.
And I think it was in the first video I had a moment that I was angry and I slammed my hand on the pass. And it's just very my style. And it's not yelling at anyone, I'm yelling at the world when I do that.
Yeah, you're sort of like trying to hype people up.
Right.
I remember that. It was like, let's go sort of thing.
Yeah. So I have a good friend of mine, dear friend, just like salt of the earth person. He's a food writer, super intelligent, and he told me, he called me, and he said, "Listen, I think that this video is great, but I think you should edit it." I said, "Tell me why." He said, "This moment, this part of you is going to give people the wrong idea of who you are." And I said, I see what you're saying, and he's more talking about the state of the world now.
Yeah.
The way that the world is going now. It's an angry white dude. I'm not white. I'm Cuban. I wasn't. Sure. I wasn't angry. I was expressive.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I understood what he said, but I didn't do it because that is who I am. And for me, if people can't accept that about me, I don't care what kind of box you decide to put me in. I'm still going to be who I am. And the people, all these crazy people around us that work for me, they know that's who I am. And I would never hide from who I am. So, like, the emotions and the extra whatever comes from a place of, I want our guests and our people to have the best experience possible. It has nothing to do with me trying to be a fucking asshole ever.
Yeah, and I can see how somebody might see that, and I guess I could see how they would think that. But I remember that part of the video, and I don't know. I guess I took it as being more a moment of intensity than anger.
But I also understand that person trying to look out for me and saying, I don't... Because, like, that person knows very well...
They knew what was going on in the video.
Well, they know my goals, and they were like, this may hurt your goals, right? But at the same time, I said, this is who I am. And if being who I am hurts my goals, then I'm okay with not having any of those goals.
Right.
That's just the reality of it. But I love them for doing that. I really do.
So we are coming up on, at least in recording time, this is going to be edited down a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Coming up on the hour mark here.
Are we?
A little bit.
Time flies when you're having fun, Nick.
So we're going to do our wind down stuff, and then we're going to cut off the regular episode and get into the Patreon exclusive stuff.
Okay.
So this is where we do the wind down things.
Listen, if you get on Patreon, you get
right.
a croqueta doorstop that I have no idea how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to make it happen.
You and 100 of your friends need to be on Patreon.
That's fucking nuts. $25 a month.
It's not $25 a month. As little as $1 a month.
$25 a month. Listen, I'm trying to get that Bella Thorne money.
I know.
Now.
Well,
Bella Thorne money.
You got to be a little higher than $1 to get a mug. So if you want a mug, you want to be higher than that. But yeah, you want to be in there for a croqueta doorstop. And we want 100 people in there. And you'll all get a croqueta doorstop. I'm not promising you how well engineered this croqueta doorstop will be.
It could be fucking real bad.
It could just be
you
the
could
cheapest
actually get
croqueta
an
we can
old
find.
croqueta with some fucking toothpicks.
That might be what happens. That's actually exactly what I have in mind. All right, so recommendations. Anything you want to recommend to the people?
There's actually things I wanted to recommend.
Do it.
Fuck, but so I just had dinner at Le Jardiniere. I'm probably butchering the name in the Design District.
Okay.
And I thought it was absolutely fucking exceptional. Seth Blumenthal, the chef there, is a dear friend, and the food was so fucking good. Incredibly well executed. Service was great. I had a great fucking time. And I would recommend that till I'm fucking blue in the face.
Cool.
That's one. Recommend going to Nave. Nave just reopened today. I'm not sure what day it is today. What's today's date, Nick?
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday, the what?
I know it's December. It's the 16th.
The 16th of December. That means Nave is open now Wednesday through Sunday. Please visit us for all of your special occasions and whatever. If it's just a Thursday and you want a snapper Milanese, we're here for you.
There you go.
I watched a movie called Spare Parts with George Lopez.
Okay.
And it was about a group of undocumented Mexican kids.
This is a drama or a documentary?
It was a drama, but it was based on a true story that they... long story short, they entered some aquatic robotic competition. And they somehow ended up in the college level one, and they did very well. And they actually won first place. It was the production of it is very corny and pretty bad, but I thought the story was good and I loved it, and I thought that was cool.
So it's like Stand and Deliver, but with robots.
It was what?
Stand and Deliver, but with robots.
Sure.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
Stand and Deliver is similar in that it's Edward James Olmos. It's a true story about a guy, a math teacher, who basically teaches all these cast aside kids
Sure.
in a very low performing school, and they end up outperforming a lot of people in
Perfect.
math. But
It's the same thing
plus robots.
with robots.
There you go.
I also recommend to go to Sears.com and to get the ball stretcher.
Not to be confused with Ryan Pfeffer's recommended. He didn't recommend it, but we did talk about a foreskin stretcher. And that
But you haven't unpacked that for the world.
No, it didn't make the cut. I left it on the cutting room floor. It seemed too much. I don't know if
Well,
Ryan.
Ryan is a big deal, right? Infatuation.com, they're making moves.
Yeah, they could use that foreskin bump. Maybe I'll put it. Maybe I'll.
The foreskin stretcher, I think, is a necessity for some.
Oh man. Okay.
Should we Patreon that part?
If you pledge $5 a month,
Actually, that's more of like an OnlyFans part.
if you hang our croquetas from your.
I know.
But you got to wear long pants with these croquetas hanging from your junk. Man, this really took a turn.
Oh, fuck.
Any other recommendations from you?
I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like I had one and I don't remember it.
Okay. I'm going to recommend a thing. I watched a movie. I was at home, and I just wanted to watch a mindless thing. And I had not seen any of the newer Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, those are good.
Spider-Man Homecoming was a good time.
Very good.
Spider-Man, you might have recommended it at some point.
I have to say that the Marvel Universe has done a very good job. Much fucking better than DC World.
Yeah, some of the Batman stuff was good with Christian Bale. But
the Christopher Nolan, right? That's who did that?
yeah, he directed him, yeah.
Batman stuff was very good. But, man, other than that, like, George Clooney's not Batman. Like, listen, George, if you're out there and you're listening, I love you, man. You're great in the airport or the terminal. Was that you? Was it?
No, that was Tom Hanks.
No, wait, he was in a...
They all look the same.
They do. Yeah, but he was in a movie about a plane.
He was where he was a pilot or something. Tom Hanks was like living in the terminal.
Right, he was living in the terminal. What was the one with George Clooney that...
He seems like the sort of person who would be a pilot a lot of times.
Fuck. I'm gonna look it up.
The frequent flyer mile thing. It's like a love story, and American Airlines points are involved.
Maybe.
Yeah. Frequent flyer or some shit.
If you donate $25 to Patreon, then you'll find out the George Clooney movie I'm talking about.
It was like a long commercial for American Airlines, basically.
Perfect. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, do it.
It's not the terminal. George
No, it's
Clooney.
not. I think it's like frequent flyer or some reference to advantage points.
George Clooney net worth. That's not what I want to know.
Just look up George Clooney airline.
Up in the air.
Up in the
George Clooney. That's right. He falls in love with a woman. They do a thing. They got a 7.4 out of IMDb and 91% by Rotten Tomatoes, which is all bought and paid for.
So you're recommending this?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
We're just. I don't
Just
remember
talking
how we landed here.
I was talking about you were talking about the Marvel Universe being better than DC, and then you got into Up in the Air somehow.
Oh, what I'm saying is that George Clooney should stay doing things like Up in the Air and not Batman.
That's not fair to George Clooney's done some good stuff.
He has, but I'm just saying not Batman.
Right, but not
He's
necessarily
not
like Up in the Air.
Up
He's
in
just
the Air
not
was
Batman.
good.
He's just not Batman.
But I'm saying Up in the Air was good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, brother, where art thou?
That was great.
That was a good movie.
Also, I think one of the best soundtracks ever.
Ever? Oh, soundtracks.
Okay.
A Bronx Tale soundtrack is absolutely incredible. Best movie of all time.
Best movie of all time. Interesting.
A Bronx Tale, without a
I
doubt.
would have a hard time with best movie of all time.
No,
but
no,
I do think
A Bronx
that
Tale.
Oh Brother Where Art Thou is one of the best
Cologino.
soundtracks.
Cologino. C.
All right, so that was my recommendation. Last time I had like 1,000 recommendations, so I'm going to cut myself off here. Shameless plug time. Do your shameless plugs. You already recommended Nave.
Yeah, no, Ariete. We're doing a menu on the 31st for New Year's Eve.
One of the Besos dinners, right?
It is the last one of the year, and we won't revisit it till March because I need a break.
Cool.
We're also doing a Christmas thing. We're doing a Nochebuena thing. We're doing a lot of things. So look up Ariete Miami for all the things.
Good stuff. Pan Con Podcast. You can find Pan Con Podcast on all the social media things.
On OnlyFans. Also, starting next Monday,
that's right.
Pan Con Podcast will be on OnlyFans with the dick sandwich.
With the dick sandwich. And maybe some nude PD.
If you donate enough.
Yeah, that's right. There will be a nude PD tier.
Right.
You want to get on dademag.com/Pancon Podcast. Subscribe. Listen wherever you listen to things. If you go to the Dade YouTube channel or our website, I mean, you can find YouTube videos, but go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And finally, patreon.com/DadeMag.
Are we actually going to release the foreskin stretcher video?
No.
We're not?
No, I don't think so. It just doesn't fit. And I was like still fucking with the audio. I mean, I guess do you really want to?
I mean, I would ask Ryan if he's okay with it.
I'll ask him. That's been like we've talked about it enough. We might as well.
I mean, why not?
I agree. We've never really asked anybody's permission. I don't want to start now.
No,
Let's
but
just
Ryan was good. He's fine.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, hey, listen, he gets the ethics thing. I don't want to have a special let's ask Ryan permission. He knew there were microphones. He knows the rules.
I mean, it's a foreskin stretching
and it's
video.
not like he said he was wearing one.
That's
he just mentioned that it had been written about.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll put it out there. So keep an eye out for our
foreskin
foreskin
video. If you're on Patreon or OnlyFans for Pancon Podcast, you could find the foreskin stretcher
That'll
video
be a Patreon
with
exclusive.
Ryan Pfeffer from
right.
Infatuation.com.
And that's where we'll cut it off. So
we're done here?
We're done here until we start again right now. But this is
$25.
This is where your podcast will end. And then if you want the full thing, go to Patreon. It's Dade Mag. So patreon.com/Dade Mag if you want to hear the rest of this.
The only thing is, I feel like we haven't rubbed anyone the wrong way in this podcast. So
go
we
ahead,
rub
somebody. Rub somebody.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, so you got to pay to hear the rubbing.
Sure.
That sounds like
OnlyFans.
Like OnlyFans. Yeah.
OnlyFans.
All right.
We're definitely starting an OnlyFans.
That thump you just heard, that was my pen ass hitting the bottom of the table.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's Penis hits the bottom of the table.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
Fantastic.